What's going on here? No.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Black Ops 2 veteran walkthrough. This is mission 6 and it's entitled Karma. So as you can see, I'm looking through the weapon select menu right now, and I'm putting on a gun that I haven't used yet, because I want to be as diverse as I can with the walkthrough for people that want to see new stuff and aren't necessarily interested in the game or interested in the multiplayer. So I put on the SWAT, which is, I believe, the SIG rifle that Kane uses. Kane uses in the original Kane and Lynch, the one that was made famous probably in Heat, the one with the translucent magazine. I think it's a derivative of that. And it's a good gun, it really is. I enjoy using it a lot. I've put on my standard 3 attachments, the millimeter scanner because it's just overpowered, and my secondary is the PDW because it's a fun SMG, and I know there's going to be a lot of running and gunning in this mission, so I would recommend having a decent one. The flight into this place is really cool. It reminded me of Syndicate quite a lot. It also reminded me of Deus Ex when you go to that fancy floating fortress place. But this is cool because as part of the fiction, it's making out like the Cayman Islands, because that's where all the bankers, send their money to, have turned into the richest nation on the planet. And this is their really, luxurious hotel slash vacation place. And the reason I've kept this in is purely because it's a really nice homage to a bunch of awesome science fiction films. One of them, namely, is Total Recall.
Stay cool.
And I thought that was kind of cool. But also because it's a change of pace, and it's moments like this that I think these games do well. I just wish there was these moments that were the same length as a full level. If they just could mix up and, commit to not everything going explodey every 5 seconds, these games could really turn into quite an interesting thing, because the story in this game is good. There are some really good aspects to it. The villain is good, and the progression is good. It's just, it doesn't carry the weight it deserves because it develops too quickly. And if there was, just a little bit more tension, a little bit more of a build-up, it'd definitely hit harder. This bit's amazing as well. I liked this. The advertisements, because this is the future, they recognise your biometrics and they change the faces to match yourself, a lot like Minority Report, where the ads all talk to you. And I thought that were a nice little touch. But we're going to be waiting for an elevator here because we're about to split up with Harper and Salazar and do our thing. And it's a fun mission, this one, but I do have some problems with it. The first one is the final section of the mission. The game wants you to rush. It's telling you to hurry up and catch this guy, and on Veteran, I don't think you can catch him, because I tried my balls off, guys, to do it differently than I did the first time, and I'm actually going to advise you not to play like I play on the final part of this video, because I was being almost suicidal trying to catch the DeFalco guy, and it didn't work. So I'm not too sure if you can even do it. It might be one of those moments that's always meant to fail.
Sweep the floor. Salazar and I will proceed to the insertion point.
A little bit more exposition, a little bit more talking. He gets off here, and if you watch, there's a nice little storytelling moment right there. Anybody who's observant when you watch TV shows, that is the introduction of a character that's later going to be important, and you're going to go, oh yeah, type moment. I love those. And this is the first bit of action we get to see.
We have Union IDs.
And there is the awesome SIG. This gun does some serious damage, but it does run out of ammo quite quickly. That sounds like my phone going off and probably being picked up on the microphone, which sucks, but I'll have to live with it. And this is Ziggy, which is your little robotic friend. And there's been a film recently where they got like what he's about to pull out, this thing here, which is essentially like a scroll, but it's electronical and it's a tablet, and I think it's maybe Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol where they had something similar. But if you can remember what film that's been in recently, please comment, because I completely forgot. But I was like, it's one of those things that are cool and I've seen before, but I don't know why. But this is good. I thought you'd use this a little bit more. This could have been really interesting, because essentially this is a platforming section in a Call of Duty, which you don't often get. It's not long enough to be obnoxious, but it's just a decent enough length that you have to do something slightly different than, aim and shoot. And I do enjoy these parts. like I say, I just wish the game would develop to the state where it would dare to do slower sections more frequently. This is me. There you go. Do apologise, guys. I was watching things while I was playing this, so if you ever see me stand still for a couple of seconds, it generally means that I'm adjusting YouTube or I'm clicking a different video or something like that. But when you get to this pipe section coming up, you can fall off on this area and you can die, but it doesn't matter because you have got some checkpoints. But what you want to do, get over to this area, jump to the second section of pipes, and you're pretty much done here. You just then have to jump into this little alcove, and your time with Ziggy is affectionately over as we climb down here, and then we attack this dude. And I don't know about you, but I thought the future aspects of this game were going to be slightly more futuristic. I'm kind of glad they're not, but I expected it to really go future heavy, and I think it's probably a good idea that they didn't. But at the same time, I thought you were going to be flying drones and using those drone tanks and all that stuff really frequently, and you don't, which is good. Oh, and this right here is a vintage veteran checkpoint. If you do not move into cover and shoot those guys, you can immediately die on that checkpoint. And because Treyarch loves you, they've made it so that the checkpoint was before the animation of entering the room, so if you die a few times here, you're going to see them enter the room quite a lot. And I did die on my first time about 5 or 6 times on this section, purely because you get rushed in a moment by these guys, and if you don't die at the start, they generally kill you. So just be careful, but once it's clear, you can come back over here, and it's another Minority Report moment, which I did enjoy. But now that we've got our Colin Farrell on, and we've got all the information we need, we're now into less spoiler territory, so I can tell you about one of the things I didn't understand. So we come here looking for Karma, because Karma is apparently the code word for a biological weapon, or some kind of digital weapon, sorry, not biological, it's a cyber weapon. And it turns out it's not a weapon, it's a person, and it's this girl. And she's got a tattoo on her neck. But I don't know what it means. I don't know what that enables us to understand. Because this girl is never mentioned again and never seen again. And I don't know if that's because I made some bad decisions, or the path that I went down meant that it didn't explain it too well. But what the hell does she have to do with anything? Because he mentions that she's some kind of former scientist of sorts, so she's got to be somebody important, but how does she play into Menendez's plan? And I don't know, maybe it's because I played it in one sitting and I was tired, but I couldn't understand what the fuck, basically. And if there's a series of online videos that explain the backstory, then I'm not interested, but if it's actually something in the game that I missed, please feel free to, you know, to educate me on what your take on it was, because I just couldn't understand where she fitted in. But at this moment in time, I'm out of my wall banging, so I switched to the PDW, and there's going to be a lot of guys rushing these rooms, but the cool thing about this is they seem to want to run through the rooms before they do any shooting, so you can generally kill them on the spawn. Be very careful though, guys. When you're this close and you're playing it a little bit, you know, like the multiplayer, you can get seriously killed. As opposed to being playfully killed, which we all enjoy. But remember, you've got flashbangs if you pick to them. Remember to use your items well, because there's plenty of opportunities to reload. I saw that guy there, I try and wallbang him, it doesn't work, so I do this instead. There you go, son. Superior intellect, that's what I do. And be careful on this, that the AI throw a bunch of smoke in this lobby, and smoke doesn't seem to work like it used to, because you can't see them, but they can see you perfectly. So just be careful, because I did get insta-murdered when I stood up out of cover on this point. That's why there's a crossfade just there. And that is one of the cool things about this walkthrough for people that have been with me a long time. No doubt you will be curious about how many times I actually die in the games, and on this guide it's going to be quite easy to see, because a lot of the times I died I had a lot of difficulty syncing up the gameplays, so I used a lot of crossfades, which I've already mentioned my view on crossfades in a previous video. I generally stay away from them unless they add something, because essentially a crossfade is usually used, or any kind of fade is traditionally used to show that a period of time has passed. It's to show that it's generally, you know, a progression, and not a lot of people know that. But this is another one of the slower moments where we get to walk into the club. This club is fucking weird, guys. You've got couples staring at silhouetted strippers. Is the future really that boring? I don't get it. If anything, you'd think you'd be able to plug yourself into something that could, you know, really rock your socks, but staring at silhouettes is like watching the introduction to a Bond film. And that's not very enjoyable when it comes to, you know, paying top dollar to see some titties. I don't really get that. But this is the future, and the future is obviously extremely tame and newt. We've probably lost our testicles somewhere in one of the elections, and we can no longer reproduce, so instead, dubstep. And everybody knows the dance, because this is the official dance of the dubstep. And he's taking his woman to the dance floor, is he? No, he's blocking the bloody stairs. Don't you just hate those people in the club? But once you come over here, this is when things are going to get slightly more interesting. Check out Rucker's face. He's looking pretty. There's the guy from Arachnophobia, and things are about to get a little bit more interesting. But you will see the conclusion to this sequence in the next video, guys. So thanks for watching. You know, thank you for taking the time to check out my channel or any of my other work. And, you know, keep on doing what you're doing, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you. You take care now.